back to Media Week. Let's take a check of the media sector's performance in the past week. On the share market, we're joined by Chris Weston from IG. It seems to have just been kind of trading sideways lately. Chris, how's the media sector fared though?
Well, the media sector's actually fallen away a little bit, to be honest, but we need to look at the media sector. I look at the Bloomberg sub-index, so the ASX 200 media sub-index, and that's largely comprised of News Corp, though, to be fair, and that's had a bit of a disappointing week or so. I think ultimately, if you have a look at the individual stock volatility, the Fairfax is the one that's seen the biggest downside over the last 5 days, about 9% lower. Seven West Media down about 5%, so they're probably the stocks which have seen the biggest downside move. Village Media as well. Village Cinemas obviously had a pretty disappointing start to the week. I think the last couple of days we've seen slightly better flows coming through there. And I think names like Ria Group, News Corp, Southern Cross Media and 10 probably trading anywhere between down 0.2% to down 1.5%. So the overall market is being driven by News Corp. So the overall subsector is being driven by News Corp, but some interesting volatility if you get down towards the smaller end there.
Yeah, you mentioned Village. There was a downgrade to guidance. What did you see as the reaction from brokers on that one?
Well, not a huge amount, to be honest. I mean, there's some slight tweaking of price targets. They moved their guidance to be 5% below where the consensus was in the market. And to be fair, the only two brokers were really up to date and have moved their models since mid-February were Baillieu Hoist and JP Morgan as well. And if you actually look at where their consensus target between the two of them now, it's around $7.20. So the stock's trading on a slight premium to that at the moment. So I think if we do start seeing higher levels from where we are at the moment, you may actually get downgrades from their current neutral stance just because the price target is running away, or certainly the price is running away from the price target there as well. But I still think this is a very interesting name. They downgraded because of poor box office receipts from one film. They're not going to receive their usual $5 billion dividend, but I think this is still a very attractive defensive cyclical stock, and those films can come and go. They can release something and it's swings and roundabouts for these names. But I mean, at the moment we did see a big sharp move in the market, but we've started to see buying coming back in. They've still got just over 5% net yield, so it's still quite attractive in this market.
Chris Weston, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Chris from IG in Melbourne. A Communications Department report on media ownership rules has sparked fresh lobbying by media companies for changes to the rules. We're joined by James Manning for more. Yes, fresh hopes, you might say, amongst so many.
Yeah, there's another small step towards maybe some of these media ownership rules being repealed, if you like. This government's all about, deregulating different sectors, and they'd like to get stuck into media. Well, some of them that would like to get stuck, we're yet to see how fair dinkum they are about it. The things that might change is the 2 out of 3 rule, which stops a media company from owning newspapers, radio and television in a market. There's quite a few big media groups own 2 of the 3, Seven West Media, Fairfax, Win, Southern Cross or Stereo. The other big one is the 75% reach rule, which stops one company broadcasting more than 75% of the Australian population. The thing that would change there is the free-to-air metro broadcasters and the regional broadcasts. We expect there could be some mergers there. So, 7, 9 and 10, if they do tie-ups with their regional broadcasters, could broadcast to the whole country. The likely match-ups there would perhaps Southern Cross Stereo has been in talks with 9 previously, so they could move there. That would leave Win without a partner, but they could go to 10. Bruce Gordon's sort of an investor in 10, and presumably Prime would stay with 7 because they've got a long-term agreement here, and apart from the recent sort of disagreement over the HBB TV initiative, they seem to be very close.
Yeah, we were just flashing up some pictures of Kerry Stokes from 7. He seems to be keeping his cards kind of quite close to his chest at the moment. 9 and 10 both came out yesterday and said, we just too many rules, let's get rid of them all. 7 is just playing a bit of cat and mouse and not coming out, as maybe they should, until we get some more concrete noises from the government about what they're going to actually do. And the timing was not lost on too many people. We've just had the Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, meeting with the News Corp boss, Rupert Murdoch, while in New York, just as all of this has been released as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, people wondering, is that a good sort of a message to show that he's up there, and should they have just met in a more neutral place, perhaps in an office or something, and so it didn't look like they were maybe plotting,
more neutral territory or something, yes. Yeah, what did you think of that then?
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, the talk is that, 10 has some... could end up as part of News Corp, Would they have talked about that there? Perhaps unlikely. But
probably the food and wine was on offer was far too good.
Yeah,
now, also, of course, there's been changes at 7. There's been a restructure of the newsroom this week, and then we know 10 has confirmed some of the staff too who are taking newsroom redundancies.
Yeah, look, some of those people we've known all about 10 for a while that was going to happen. 7 say, look, we're still investing in news. They've been advertising for some new positions across the group, but it could affect some other people could be let go. So they expect there might be a small change there. Max Utrich is developing a new news unit. The focus is very much on 7's performance in the major markets. I mean, 7 News does wonderfully in Perth, Adelaide. It's line ball often between 7 and 9 in Brisbane, but 7's really behind in Brisbane, in Melbourne and Sydney. Of course, the crucial markets for them to win. They really want to do a lot better there, where 9 certainly has the edge.
All right, James, we'll take a quick break. Thank you so much. James Manning with us for Media Week again. Coming up on the program, the war of words between the country's 2 major publishers intensifies. Details next.